Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We have a super exciting show today. Kim, do you want to tell us who's joining?
Well, I'm so excited to introduce Sheila Kelly, and I can't wait to hear about her health and life transformation. Woohoo!
Yeah, thank you for joining us, Sheila.
You're welcome.
And before we get started, if anyone is whoever's watching, tuning in, if you don't mind, just go ahead and throw a comment in the chat and let us know where you're watching from. And we just love to hear from you.
Yay.
So, Kim, would you like to introduce Sheila?
Okay, so I actually don't even remember exactly when I met you, Sheila, but Sheila Kelly came to me as a patient, and she is a wonderful human being. And there we go. We got Christy, we got Janice coming on from Omaha, Nebraska, Ohio. Yay, Ohio. And I'm in Colorado. Anthony, where are you coming in from?
Right now, I'm in Tamaqua, Pennsylvania.
Nice. And Sheila, where are you from?
Bloomington, Illinois, Central Illinois.
Yay. So we've got a bunch of different states. We've got Ohio, Austin, Texas, California. So great to see everybody.
Yeah. Hi, Rebecca.
Hey,
and
Rebecca.
Dave's watching with you.
Nice. Brissa, yay, from the Tri-Cities area in Washington. Lori from Utah. That's awesome. That's so wonderful. And actually, I'm from Colorado, but I'm in North Carolina right now, so it's all off.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
Michigan, look at this. Great. So Sheila, let's get straight into it because I know we have a lot to talk about, but I want to know your background. What happened? What was your life before you made some of these changes, and what made you make these changes?
Okay. So I have suffered with migraines on and off throughout my life. It's kind of on one side of the family, we have that. I've also entered menopause, so I had menopause symptoms on there. But it was getting to the point that the migraines were 5 to 6 times a week. And I was living off of pills just to get through the day. So it started when they started out and they weren't that bad. I could drink a Diet Coke and it would get better, and maybe a candy bar and it would get better. And then years went by and that didn't work anymore. So then I started Excedrin migraine. I was like, oh, this stuff's amazing. And so I could get by with 1 pill. But a year and a half ago, it was 2 pills, and that's the max you can take. And some days I was taking 3 because I couldn't get through the day. And I knew that was not recommended, but I had to function. You know what I'm saying? So then last January, I asked the doctor when I went for my checkup, listen, I'm suffering. Can you give me something prescription wise? And so she did. And it was something that I could take in addition to Excedrin migraine, and I could take up to 2 of those. So there were some days I was taking 4 pills just to get through the day. Then on Saturday and Sunday, I couldn't barely get out of bed because I was so hungover from all those pills. So it was this cycle I couldn't stop. Wow. So I had I had dabbled with plant-based eating before, but never could stick to it. And I listened to Britt Beselson's Plant Strong podcast, and he was interviewing Anthony last summer. And Anthony said, he went to these conferences and people were like, I need a plant-based doctor. And there was no option. So he just founded Love.Life Telehealth so you could meet with a plant-based doctor. And I came home and I told my husband, I said, I have to do something different because this is not a life that we should be living right now. Like, we don't do anything on the weekends because I can't get out of bed. So he said, yeah, go for it. So August 23rd of 2023, I met with Dr. Kim, and my biggest complaint was migraines, but I also had the menopause symptoms, mood swings. It was just a circle I just couldn't get out of.
Yeah, so Sheila, can I chime in for a second? I want to back up a little bit. And when you were talking about migraines, and I don't know if you noticed when you heard my podcast, but I also used to suffer from migraines. And I remember in the 6th grade, I used to go to school with a baggie with 6 jelly beans in it. And I was told that if I started to feel like I was getting a headache, that I should eat those jelly beans. And I don't know if it was the sugar or if they were somebody, or if a doctor or someone or my mom was hoping for like a placebo effect or something. But it made me, I honestly, I hadn't even remembered that until you mentioned, drinking a Coke or something like that to try to deal with them, because it's debilitating, right? Like, I mean, it's your whole entire day.
Absolutely debilitating. Debilitating. Wow. Yep.
And so then when you say you had dabbled in whole food plant-based, like how many years have you been kind of interested or kind of maybe coming in and out or like on the fringe of the whole food plant-based kind of community?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years.
Wow. And so do you remember how you first initially learned about it even 5 years ago or 5 years earlier? So I guess that would be 6 years or so ago now.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember I heard something about the Forks Over Knives documentary, and I was able to watch that. And I was amazed at the stuff they were saying. I was like, I did not know this. Like, I thought milk, you had to drink that to, be healthy. And I think the dairy got me more than anything else. Because I was like, wow.
Yeah. So I'm always interested. I'm fascinated by this because I feel like it sounds to me like at a logical level, you knew that this was a wonderful, a high potential solution, maybe not a wonderful solution. You didn't know that at that time, but you knew that there was that it could possibly help, right?
Yes.
And then when you say you came kind of in and out or dabbled in and out, was there a particular reason why you would necessarily stop? Like, is it because you couldn't find anything good to eat, or is it because it was too hard, or because you got pulled into social situations? Do you remember kind of what would like? Because I mean, I think we all probably know very well. I think that people watching as well, like we go through these kind of times where we're highly motivated, then we kind of lose it, right? And I just find that fascinating. I think people might be really interested to hear, like, kind of that if you experience something similar, and then how you kind of broke free from that and were able to then, get into it and then stick with it.
Yeah. So yes, it was the social situations and that it could be difficult, because when you go out to eat, the menus in general are tough to navigate through. And there's the embarrassment factor of, okay, and I'm going to ask this waiter or waitress that I don't want this. And I'm holding up the whole table and
And
or hey,
I've got to interrupt because we have a special guest on the show.
No.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. You have changed my life by your interview with Anthony. I can't believe I get to see you in person. I mean, not in person.
Who is that, Sheila?
Wow. Hi, Rip.
Who is that, Sheila?
Hi, Sheila. Nice to see you. Good to see you, Anthony.
Nice to see you, Rip.
Yeah.
So I am at Rip's retreat. If you've ever not gone to the Plant Strong retreat, everybody get your butts over here. It is so awesome.
Amazing.
And so, yay.
Yeah.
So Sheila was telling us that she changed her life because she had horrible migraines. She saw an interview with Anthony on your podcast. And so keep going, Sheila. Tell him how she changed
I heard the interview and I said to my husband, I have to do something different because these migraines are debilitating and all the medicine I was taking. So I decided to sign up with Love.Life Telehealth. I picked Dr. Kim as my doctor, and I've lost 42 pounds since August 24th. I've lost 42 pounds, no longer pre-diabetic. I only have had 8 migraines versus 5 or 6 a week.
Wow.
And I want to go and do things now. I'm not afraid to go out and take adventures. And I just want to tell everybody how good you can feel when you feel you'll fuel yourself correctly. So I thank you so much for all you've done, your whole family. So thank you very much.
Well, you're beyond welcome. And thank you to you, Sheila, for grabbing the kale by the stalk and making the lifestyle happen, because we all know that it's not easy, especially to kind of get this thing going. But once you get this ball rolling, there's no stopping it. And look at Anthony, I don't know what Kim was like before, but
50 pounds heavier.
But look at Kim. And then, we got a group of 86 participants that are here this week. And I just got done with a men's group, and at least 8 of the men of the 20 were dragged there kicking and screaming by their wives. And each one of them has said, oh my God, I can't even tell you how this has changed my life. I'm so glad that I came here. I'm so glad I listened to my wife. one guy said, I can't believe it. He's like, I can think clearly for the first time in like a decade. And he's like, I want to go up to people and say, how are you? As opposed to, how are you? You know, but he's like, I want to like live again. So it's great. Anthony loves this work. Kim loves the work. And we do it because of people like you, Sheila, that, you know, we never know when we're fishing, just to use the analogy, who will take the bait. And it's a good bait. It's a healthy bait. And you took it. So way to be.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much.
Awesome.
And it's interesting. Maybe you'll drag your husband here one day.
I hope.
Sheila actually has a very interesting background in that her husband is on a standard American diet. And they both, you were chefs, right?
For now.
No, we owned a sub shop back in the day.
You owned a sub shop. But so Sheila developed a YouTube channel. Tell her a little bit about why and what happened and what it's about.
Actually, it was my husband's idea. He said, there's other people who eat differently in a household. Why don't we share with people how we do it? So it's called One Dish, Two Ways. So we take like a pizza and I show, okay, this is how I do it for Joe. And then this is how I do it for me. But I give tips all along the way. And we've done a video about how we food prep for the week because we both still eat vegetables. We both still eat potatoes. So you can still prep all those things so that both of you can eat it. And then he just cooks his meat on the side and I cook all my beans because all the other stuff we basically share. I mean, you still eat those things. So
that's really creative. One dish, two ways. It's good.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Thank you.
And you know, I think that's such a valuable piece of completing someone's individual transformation is then helping others.
Yeah,
it's great that you're giving back.
Yeah, Sheila, where do you live?
Bloomington, Illinois.
All right. Isn't that where Indiana University is?
It's where it's Illinois State University is here. In Bloomington, Indiana is Indiana University, which is ironically where I'm from. That's where I call home. Yes. So.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Well, we so appreciate all that you've done because you've transformed so many people's lives. And so, Sheila, what's the difference between before and now?
Now I'm not afraid to when somebody says, let's go do this, or, hey, let's go play pickleball, or let's go take a hike. Because I used to be afraid of, what if I fell? Like, I'm not strong enough. My core is not strong enough. I don't want to do that. And now I want to do stuff. I turned 50 in January. And last year when I was getting ready to turn 50, I thought, I'm looking at a decade of pills, watching my family members and my people have type 2 diabetic. And I was heading down that road. Now the only pills I take are vitamins. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing that you can wake up and feel good and not worry about how I'm going to wake up. That was the other thing is I went to bed every night thinking, how bad am I going to feel in the morning? How much medicine am I going to have to take just so I can function? And now I don't have to worry about that.
And how old are you?
50. Just turned 50 in January.
And getting younger every year.
Absolutely. Oh, I feel much better now than I did 5 years ago. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
Well,
thank you so much. I don't want to keep you away from too many people. You're welcome to stay for the whole thing. You were on the interview?
I've got the next room wants me for something. So, but Sheila, great to meet you.
Thank you.
Congrats. Anthony, I'll see you.
Rip, can we keep it plant strong?
Hold on. There we go. Boom.
Thank you.
Perfect.
I'll see you soon, Rip.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that.
Woo, that was exciting.
That was amazing.
It's
Let
awesome.
me compose
The
myself.
whole thing is awesome. It's for anybody who's done this before. This is my first time here, and I have experience. I've been doing this for 13 years. I'm learning so much. I'm enjoying so much. And the sense of community and meeting other people and dancing all the time. And it's just rejuvenating. So get the community that you need. And I know, Sheila, that was a problem for you for a little while, right?
Yes, because I mean, it can be lonely because you are definitely taking the opposite path as everyone else. And so you can go to a restaurant and it's very hard to find stuff. The ethnic restaurants are a little easier than standard, just regular American restaurants. So we've had to navigate that. We also don't eat out as much. Number one, it's super expensive. And number two, my husband's like, it's really not conducive for you. So we have gotten real good about making the food that we used to eat out. Pizza and Italian dishes. And we're getting good at, Japanese food and Chinese food, because it's just easier to find stuff that we both can eat if we just make it at home. But one time, and it is, I just want to talk about food all the time. I always wanted to, but now I really want to. Go ahead, Anthony.
Well, I was going to say, Sheila, in addition to you getting good at it and getting creative with it, it really honestly just sounds to me like you're having a good time doing it.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to let that breeze by, because, when you first learn, I wonder if old Sheila, I wonder if old Anthony, I wonder if old Kim, Milky Way vegan Kim, when we think about, eating healthy food, the initial thoughts that pop into our minds are boring, like no flavor, not exciting, bland, blah, right? But it makes it hard. Like you have to rely on like willpower and effort to force yourself to do it. But that's not the reality, right? Like that's what we all used to think. But the reality is like, as you're just describing all these different types of foods that you're learning how to cook and stuff, it sounds to me like you're doing it for fun because you want to do it, not because you have to do it.
That's right. Oh, definitely. It's for fun. What can I create? I mean, this week's experiment is turning black beans into chocolate pudding. And it is amazing. Made 3 batches. And my husband loves the desserts so far. He absolutely loves. I think it's because they're not sweet like standard American dessert sweets are. And so last night he's sitting there eating the first test batch. I just can't believe this is black beans. This is really good. So yeah, it's fun. Like you said, it's super fun to take ingredients. And he's expanded our garden. He loves the garden so that he has more things for me to try and eat and things like that.
Which is awesome, because even though he's on a standard American diet, you're sneaking in stuff. Like I remember one of your YouTube videos was about your birthday cake for him.
Yes.
And it's a whole plant-based birthday cake. And he loves it just as much as, didn't he ask you to make it for him, right?
Yes. I made it for my birthday, and his birthday's like 3 weeks later, and he asked if he could have it for his birthday. I said, absolutely.
Isn't that great? So that's just awesome. Oh my gosh, Beth Martin.
That's my parents.
Amazing.
From Bloomington, Indiana.
So we have a lot of people tuning in. And Sheila, I wonder, is there a favorite question that you like to have people ask you, or what should we tell people to ask about? I would like to put a call out for people to ask questions about tips, maybe on how to make eating more fun, how to make foods more flavorful. Also, of course, because I feel like it's so important, how to get and keep yourself on track. So that you can get over that initial hump where it takes effort to the point where it's fun and easy. If you guys have any questions about things like that, or any points or tips you want to share, go ahead and put them in the comments. And then, Sheila, if you don't mind, while we give people a few minutes to do that, Kim, would you and Sheila be willing to talk a little bit about, kind of what you work, what you do, how you Dr. Kim was able to support you, Sheila, and help to really get you on this path that you're on.
Perfect. I would love to repeat the story, how it went. So I tell her everything, and then she says, okay, do you drink alcohol? And I said, only on girls' nights, which literally that weekend was the girls' night. So this was a Thursday. I had the appointment. I started on Friday. And she says, no more alcohol. I'm like, okay, whatever you want. Like, it's no big deal. And then she said, whole food, plant-based. So I'm like, okay. And I remember everybody asked me, what are you going to eat? And I'm like, that's the question I get most often. It's not about the protein. I know that's a lot. It's what do you eat? Okay, oatmeal for breakfast. Do you know oatmeal is the plainest? It doesn't really have much flavor. You can make it sweet with a bunch of fruit. You can make it savory with pizza toppings, or with some sauteed mushrooms and onions and a little bit of tamari, and you've got a whole food plant-based breakfast. Lunch, you can have Doesn't have to be necessarily a salad. It can be tamale pie. It can be tacos. I mean, you can do corn tortillas and black beans and a little bit of rice. And then what do you have for dinner? Big old salad with some sort of grain. So some farro or maybe a baked potato. And you load that salad up with pumpkin seeds and carrots and tomatoes and cucumbers. I think it's actually easier to eat this way. Personally, and it's a lot more quick, and if you get your beans and you're cooked already over the weekend, you got your grains, you're just heating it up, you're just microwaving it. So you can put anything inside of a pita bread, like, oh my gosh, like just literally everything you can put inside of a pita bread. So that's the question I get most often is, what do you eat? And breakfast seems to be the hardest for people, and I'm like, it's oatmeal. You can turn oatmeal into savory, to sweet, anything you want.
That's awesome. And we work together because I know you had mentioned that you didn't have community. I'm like, I'm your community now. Yeah. Contact me if you need me, because I want this to succeed for you. I want you to be healthier and happier, because honestly, that makes me happy. And it's all about me. No, just kidding. It's just so nice that to see people transform their lives. And you've become so much brighter and more energetic, and just, to me, you seem more alive now. And not just, and I'm so frustrated, I'm so sad. And it's great. And I love your channel because I get tips all the time. And I love your respect of Joe's wishes, because it is so tough for me in my household. My partner, he wasn't plant-based when we first met. And I basically said, for me, I have such a food addiction that our house has to be clean. He can go out and do whatever he wants outside, but in our house, it has to be clean, or it's, I have an issue with it. And I love how you and Joe work together, but you're subtly influencing him and making him healthier at the same time with some of the things you're changing. And I love your ideas, like potato bars, or, the lasagna 2 different ways, and typical things the breakfast 2 ways, this 2 ways, that 2. It's great. And I loved your batch cooking one too, because you guys both work, right?
Yep. Outside the home. Yes.
So coming home at night and having things that you can grab and go, and not having to think about preparation is great. I think one of your tips was, one day you guys all you write down what you're going to have next week, and then you shop.
Yes. And we also think about what our video is going to be, so we can shop for, because we film on the weekends. Yeah. That's awesome. And then another suggestion that Dr. Kim said is that because I am a food addict, there had to be rules in the house. And so, being that I have yo-yo dieted our entire marriage, it was hard to come to him and admit, okay, I'm going to try something else. And to be completely honest, he was worried. He didn't tell me this till after the appointment, that she was going to sell me a program that was going to cost thousands of dollars. And I said, no, it's food. Food is now my pharmacy. I'm not going to the Sam's Club for my pharmacy anymore. So when he realized that that's what it was, I said, but we got to have some rules. Trigger foods, pizza, and donuts. You can't bring them in the house. You can do whatever you want out there. I can't see them because I will eat them. We've also added tortilla chips to that, because I can get the corn ones and I can cook them in the air fryer, which is fine. But if the tortilla chips are in the house, I'm like, well, it's kind of whole food. No, it's not. It's fried in oil, but that's another trigger. So he has to hide the chips. I can't have the chips in the house. And we have 2 different pantries. And that's just, we thought about doing the 2 fridges, because we did have like a spare fridge in the basement. We never had to do that. We just have shelves. So he knows what's over here. And then I've got my stuff, and then all the veggies that we share, and the fruit is in the middle. So we did have to change a few things, so that it could be a better environment for me, but that we could both live in.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Has he noticed changes in you, by the way?
Oh, yeah. He's absolutely seen changes in me. Yeah. And he's happy about those changes. Absolutely. And I think he's happy to have his wife back. I mean, he's a man of few words, but I do think that he did feel that, me having to just not do anything on the weekends because I was so coming out of the pill overload. So, yeah.
And Dr. Kim, is what makes someone like Sheila an ideal patient, or a patient who's comes out so incredibly successful as she is?
I think one is motivation, but then also accountability. And so making sure, thank you. I was just reading some of the comments so I can tell people what to say. And somebody said that somebody made a nice comment, so I appreciate it. But I think accountability helps, and having somebody support you helps. And the fact that, Sheila, that Joe supports you in this is very helpful. And we at Love.Life Telehealth are here to support you. So that's great. But you were at a place where sometimes it's so hard to just function and live, that when you make the change, and the more you put into it, the bigger the change will be, that you never want to go back. That's what happened to me. I never want to go back to how I felt before, and to the struggles I had before. So I think, Sheila, what would you say?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. In the few times that I've done something that, not that I ate meat or anything, but maybe you went out to eat and you really didn't know what was in it, and then all of a sudden I don't feel so good. The few times that that's happened, I don't want that. And that just is a reminder, because it's not been a perfect road. You know, there's still struggles. And I was also very vocal after I came to that appointment, and I went to work and I told everybody, I'm starting this, because I wanted people to know why I would be different, or maybe the first few days, why maybe I didn't. She said, you're going to have some bad days, because there's the detox. That is a legit thing. That is a legit situation. And it was terrible.
And how long was that hard for you? Like
5 days.
5 days.
Yeah.
And it's so, I'm so grateful and I'm so impressed that you push through the 5 days, because it's like it's like going through a tunnel. You come out and everything's light and bright again, right? But so many people start into that tunnel. They don't feel good, and they turn around too quickly, right? But they turn around before they get to that kind of that bright future. And the truth is, they've done a ton of work. They just didn't do it for long enough to start to feel the benefits of it.
Absolutely.
Yes. And we're almost out of time, so I want to make sure we can stay a little bit longer, but I want to make sure that Jamun gets her question answered, which is snacks, which I think is a big one.
Do you mind popping it up on the screen, Kim, if you see it?
There we go.
Yes. So snacks. And for me, it can't be those Amy's crackers, even though they're healthy. I just don't know when to stop. So for me, it's got to be fruits and veg, and I always have hummus on hand. Hummus is another one I like to experiment with, because hummus in the store has tahini and stuff in it and a little more oil. So I tend to make it at home, and I just cook the chickpeas in my quick cooker, and then I just start batching them off. So I'll do this batch with things like in a spinach artichoke dip, and I'll do this batch with roasted garlic, and then I'll do this batch with jalapeno and or cilantro and jalapeno. And then I freeze part of those batches. So I only have to do hummus every 4 to 6 weeks. And then you get hummus with carrot sticks and things like that.
Can you do a hummus one? Do a hummus one dish many ways?
I have not done that, but I can add that to the list of things to do. Absolutely.
I mean, Sheila, I think you just see everything as like a blank slate, because you talked about your oatmeal, how many different things you can do with that. You talked about all these different, nationalities of food that you've done all these different ways. Now hummus is also like a blank slate. Like, I just think you're so creative with the meals you prepare. It sounds,
thank you.
You're making me hungry. I'll admit to everyone now, I'm traveling this week. So I just admitted to Sheila that I just brought a whole bunch of chickpeas that I batch cooked in the Instant Pot. I literally just added a couple pounds of frozen spinach to it and mix it up together, put some salsa on it. And I brought these containers. I'm like the most boring person in the world. I'm eating that for 4 days. Like, that's my food. But you're making me hungry to describing all these different hummuses and stuff. It's impressive.
And I can't
sorry, go ahead, Kim.
I'm sorry, I can't comment, but I want to send back yay to Lori for getting rid of her migraines. And it's happened to a lot of my patients, and it's happened to 2 people on this call, 2 of the people here. Yay to everybody else. I'm so pleased that you guys are here and doing so well. Sid mentioned about the good for getting through the challenging 5 days. And it's important. Some people just don't know that you go through actual withdrawals when you do this.
And look here, Lori said it as well, right?
Yeah.
She went, now she hasn't had no migraines for 2 years. She used to have severe migraines almost daily as well. Can't take the most medications. So she went to doing ablations every 6 months. I'm not sure what that is. And Kim, you could probably explain that to us.
Ablations for migraines. Oh, I'm not exactly.
I don't know. But now she went low fat, whole food, plant based, and she hasn't had a migraine for 2 years.
That's awesome.
Well done, Lori.
Well done. So, any last minute tips or advice that you would give for somebody who wants to start?
Yes, you are worth taking the time and the energy to heal yourself. It's better that you do it with food and with lifestyle changes than putting all those pills on your list. And the pills have side effects. Food does not. And why make pharmacy companies richer than they already are when you have a grocery store on the outer edges is your pharmacy or the farmer's market? And you can feel better. You just have to get through the hard, because it's hard living every day where you don't feel good. So why not just change what the hard is and work to change your lifestyle and your food, and you come out the other end feeling better. You want to do more, and you just want to live life to the fullest. You are worth it for that time and energy.
Thank you, Sheila.
Sorry, I'm getting choked up.
I mean, it's so well said, and it's so important, and I mean, you're doing it justice by showing your emotions like that, because that's when you're saying that, I know how it feels. I think many of us know how it feels to be on the other side of that and to not feel necessarily worth it. And those words of encouragement are going to be huge for everyone who's listening. And getting through that temporary hard period until this becomes fun, until everyone's turning everything into every kind of different type of meal into their canvas and painting these delicious, meals, healthy meals for themselves. I think, thank you for sharing that. I guess that's a long way of saying thank you for sharing that. It's so important.
And hopefully this will ripple out to other people, because I mean, like for me, you can feel isolated, but then you tell your friends, and you don't tell, you show by bringing food to a meal and that they love and they will eat. And then more and more people get healthier and healthier. And that's great. Oh yes, the ablation to the radio frequency to the neck facets that affect the occipital nerve. So glad you don't have to do that anymore. Yeah. That's great.
Way to go.
Last one, Janet was asking about traveling with food. I always put it in my carry-on bag because I'm always hungry. But I do, if I'm going internationally, I will put some in my travel, but you have to make sure that, the country you're going to will let you have that. Sometimes you have to use things that you that are packaged, but I stock up.
I don't know if she was asking about my food because I'm traveling, and in my case, I drove out here, so I didn't fly, so it was easy. But yeah, usually as long as it's not too liquidy, you can get it through. But if it's a soup or stew or something like that, they're not gonna.
There's dehydrated options that you can do: dehydrated fruits, dehydrated veggies.
Yeah.
But and then
here's the comment that Dr. Kim won't pop up herself, but we agree.
But I second that.
Yes,
Well, thank you all for being here, and especially to you, Sheila. And everybody check her channel out, One Dish Two Ways, because it is so fun and educational, and it's real, because these are people who live, you've got all these fancy things, and people, have pre-made things, and it's real. And I learned so much from you, and I really appreciate your honesty, your openness, and your education for all of us. And keep up this journey, because I want to see next year what your life looks like.
Sounds good.
We'll do a reunion show. We're going to have to call in Rip.
Oh, yes. Maybe get Jane and Ann on there too.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thank you, Dr. Kim, for everything you've done. Anthony, for creating this. And of course, Rip, for interviewing you. I mean, you guys have changed my life all for the better. So thank you very much.
It takes a village. We're all working together. Thank you, Sheila.
And
you
thanks
did
for everybody who joined. I appreciate all the nice comments. That's very nice.
Yes, thank you. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I will go back through the comments and we'll answer a couple questions. You know, if other people had questions, we do want to make sure everyone gets what they need. Also, if you're looking for Sheila's YouTube channel, I did post a link in the comments so that you can go up and find that as well. Any parting words, Dr. Kim?
I love how this lifestyle is starting to spread, because it makes my life easier when I go out and with friends. And I love seeing Sheila and what you're doing, and Anthony and what you've done. You guys have both changed people's lives. And so thank you for what you guys have done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Everyone enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.